still love you, baby. And you'd never change.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Rose.
And I'm Mellie.
And welcome to OGKpop
Kommentary!
first episode. Or episode 00. I don't know. So basically this is going to be an intro little episode first. Just to get used to us, who we are, and also how we basically started with K-pop in general.
Yeah.
I mean, technically we started with K-pop, but then we branched out later, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm. Basically go through what made us fall in love and going through this black hole of what it is that K-pop is, and, you know, like the whole Hallyu wave.
Which, I mean, like, I know there's like a huge, now it's 2018, right?
Right.
So it's such a huge difference compared to when I first heard K-pop
2008
back in 2008.
and 2009 for me.
Yeah, 2008 for me, and then we overlapped a little bit, but then you were mainly 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean, when I did it, because I was listening to it when no one in my, like, group of friends were actually even knew what K-pop was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I only knew because going in, it was around 2000, yeah, it was around 2008. And everyone knows SM Entertainment now. So there's SM Entertainment, there's YG, there's JYP, right? And back then, I didn't know there was even a big three. I only knew that, now I know. Okay, so does anyone remember Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini's Timeless song back when American Idol was still a thing? I mean, is it still running now?
I'm not sure. I know that what's a lot more popular right now is The Voice.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But American Idol...
I think American Idol finished.
Okay, but it's had like 20,000 seasons. So, I mean, even if they are done, they have a huge, like, history to them.
Yeah.
So this is when Kelly Clarkson, the first, was American Idol winner, right?
Yeah.
Is when she first won, and that's when it was, like, mind-blowing, explosive. That's, like, what started the whole singing audition trend, both in the States and actually South Korea. So I was only watching it because, I mean, 2008, does anyone remember? Like, there was barely an internet. and what was there, it was all very, like, you know,
It was the start of YouTube, basically.
Start of everything. OG for social media, YouTube, sharing everything on the internet, and recordings and stuff like that. So basically, I was just watching it nonchalantly, and I would come home and I would just watch it, whatever. And then she wins. It was actually Justin Guarini and her were finalists, right?
I believe so. Yes.
And then she wins, but they still did a song together called Timeless. And so that was the American release. It, like, debuted around that time. Cut to, like, I think it was, like, 6 months later. But anyways, I was looking up the song Timeless because I wanted to, you know, like, know the lyrics or something. And then I found Sha Junsu. So, lead vocal of Dongbang Shinki, TVXQ at the time. This is before TVXQ and JYJ were a thing. And if no one knew that, I'm sorry, I spoiled it for you. But this is when they were all still together, the five of them. And he was still the lead of TVXQ. And he collabed with a solo artist under SM. Thank you. Jang Lee-in. So that's her Chinese name, but Korean, Jang Ri-in. And honestly, at first it sounded exactly like the American like recording, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. And then I think you can increase a little bit. And so it's totally sounding like this. But then when they started playing, I realized they were not even speaking English. Like, it took me like 30 seconds to realize that what you guys are hearing right now is the American version. But then we'll pull up the Korean version in a sec. And that one, it took me, I think, 30 to 45 seconds before I realized that they weren't even speaking in English. It was a completely different language to what I was supposed to. And it was like, it doesn't sound like Chinese. It doesn't sound like Japanese. It sounds really weird. So, like, what language is this? Like, I didn't even recognize it to be Korean because back then it was like Mandarin was just picking up ground in American high schools. So I was like, okay, this is probably like Chinese or something. So ignorant. Because I was just like, this is probably Chinese. And then when I looked it up, it said, you know, Korean version style. And then I saw the music video and I fell in love. Because for some odd reason, like, definitely Jung Lee-in, her style is R&B. And this is more ballad. But her voice is so R&B. Mm-hmm. And I also... Do you hear that, man? Like, Junsu. Yes. Like, to this day, when I hear his voice...
His beautiful voice.
Especially in that track, I still lose my shit. Like, I still feel like a tug in my heart. Because he sings so soulfully in this song, right? Mm. And so I was like, damn, these people can sing. Yeah. And then I was just like, I don't even care what they're saying. I don't even understand what they're saying, so who cares? But it sounded so different from the American version once I, like, started listening to the whole song. And also listening to... I mean, you can keep playing it a little bit in the background. But, like, honestly, it sounded completely different from the American version. So much so to the point that I ditched the American version because I just couldn't hear it the same anymore. Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't soulful enough. It wasn't something enough, right? Mm-hmm. So eventually I was just like, okay, screw this. I can't listen to the English version anymore, even though it's the original. And then finally I was just like, okay, who is this man? Like, who is this man and who is this woman? Like, I love this song so much. Like, who the F are they?
You became invested.
Yeah.
Like, researching and figuring out.
Yeah, like what? And I know everyone has felt this way the moment they discover K-pop and their bias or who they like. Mm-hmm. They're just like, who the F is this person?
Right.
Like, I just need to know because if they sound like this all the time, why not? So this is like a basic human emotion. Like, we all feel this way. And then I go in, the only difference between doing that with an American artist and with a Korean artist, especially in 2008, and yes, I'm gonna call myself out because I'm an old school OG K-pop fan. Hello. So you can call me like
second gen. Yeah.
Yeah. Is when like it was impossible. I didn't know their names, and even if you knew their names, it's like romanized, right? So like Sha Junsu, Jang Lee-in,
which tends to not always
at the time.
Like when you're first learning. The names are completely different than what they're really like spelled. Like you don't really know how to pronounce their names.
Yeah,
you butcher it so bad.
Yeah, and you hear it so many times, but you're like, when you write it down, like I wrote Jung Lee-in as like J. I don't know. Actually, really don't know. But right. I'm pretty sure I messed it up because I couldn't hear, like, it was foreign to me. Mm-hmm. And we're both bilingual. So it's not like we're not used to another language.
Right.
But we neither of us spoke Korean. And I had no idea, like, what the hell they were saying. And I couldn't even, like, write it down to try to look it up later. And then back in 2008, no one romanized anything. Like, I don't know if they did, it was a really bad job. Not like now, you can actually pronounce it without even knowing romanization. So I just kept looking up and there was no links to anything. It like pissed me off. so I gave up until YouTube finally got their stuff together. And this is before all the algorithm or stuff like now that everyone hates. You guys may hate it today, but best believe you would have loved it back in 2008. You couldn't find shit back then. Like, everything was, even though it was recommended, it had nothing to do with what you were actually watching. Right. So I was just like, I cannot find who these people are. And I don't even know SM. SM had a channel, but it was very, like, it wasn't the most easy to navigate. Anyways, long story short, I found out that Sha Junsu was from a band called Dongbanshinki, TVXQ, Dongfansinchi. Yeah, I know all the names now. Because they had like 4,000 names.
Right.
And as like a newbie to like any international group, but especially something like K-pop that has such a not only a hierarchy but like a system that unless you know what it is, you're not gonna know what you're supposed to look for.
Right.
So literally, I thought that Dongbang Shinki and TVXQ were a completely different band. Like, I was like, who? Oh, he's part of two groups, and he's like the main lead of this group.
Right.
So basically, that was the start of like a black hole spiral of everything and anything TVXQ that I can find. And I like Jungmi, and I feel really bad for her because she just had that collab, and she was nothing else. She had just debuted at the time.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I'm listening to who she is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna we're gonna put you down the rabbit hole too. And hopefully this also introduces some other people to like Jungleon.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Do I say a Korean name or a Chinese name? Anyways, regardless, like it was really difficult at the time to find anything about her because she was just a brand new debut artist. She was not Korean, she was Chinese, and she was under the umbrella of SM, but she was not popular at all because she is she just debuted as a solo artist, and that's it. TVXQ had a lot more of like a discography then. So at the time, I really don't remember. Oh, I think it was Neurotic. I can never say that song right. But this is at like almost at their peak basically. So he had a lot more. I had a lot more to research with him. So I kind of feel bad because I totally dismissed Jungleon after that because there's nothing else I could find on her. So I was just like, TVXQ it is, and I fell in love with this man, and then god damn it, this man made me fall in love with this whole group. Like, and like y'all can talk shit all you want, but second generation, especially TVXQ at the time, was like the level of BTS, or as much as they could be.
Well, in Asia, like
in
Japan and like the neighboring countries where it was becoming, popular,
Yeah, like they were only internationally known in East Asia, East and South Asia. So like no one even, and if the people that did know about TVXQ here in the stateside, I'd never met them, so they did not exist. And this is before like international fans were actually subbing, like everything that they were doing. So we're gonna talk about that a whole nother episode because I have a rant on that. Regardless, so after I found out about TVXQ, I like fell in love and I just watched every old song that led up to that song that they last were promoting. And then I found out about SM Entertainment, and I was just like, crap, like, I have to learn, like, TVXQ is 5 members, right? And I'm just like, I know who my man is, Junsu, okay? Like, I know who my man is, and his shout
Doesn't that start off for everybody?
Right? Like, you did it too! And don't you dare, see, that's the beautiful thing, right? My experience now and the experience of people right now is different, yeah, but in general, like the steps to it, you start thinking, oh shit, I gotta learn like 5 other people. and then I saw Super Junior, because after TVXQ, Super Junior was like right there, and they were the next active, group at the time, but they were just the junior, the Hubes of TVXQ. So I was like, shit, there's 13 people in that group. I am never learning the names of those people. So I was like, I just need to concentrate on TVXQ and all that stuff. Anyways, long story short, I fell in love with TVXQ and I saw everything. Every show they were on, every music video they had, every solo. Actually, solos were not a thing back then. 2008? You guys are spoiled now because, after a year or two, someone in the group tends to have a solo or a subunit or whatever. But back then in 2008, it was very much like the group. The group promotes, the group goes to shows, or the group has a music video out. You'll never hear them be. Junsu was like one of the people who really had a collab outside of his group. I think he was one of the first in TVXQ.